Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again and we're back looking at the commanders that can have a background with them. Today we're looking at Ganax Astral Hunter. I hope I've said that right. Legendary creature dragon, flying, and whenever Ganax or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, we get a treasure token. It's a 3/4 for 5 mana. Bit expensive, but the partner I've gone with, well, the partner commander, I don't know what to call it, background, that's the word I'm looking for. The background I've gone with is the Feywild Visitor. Blue and 2 for an enchantment, and commander creatures you own have. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying. Yes, it does work. You get the token into play, you get another treasure off Ganax. It's very good. It keeps giving you mana, and that's what this deck needs to be, because as you can imagine, it's going to be really based around dragons, and dragons get quite expensive to play in Commander. So, here we go. This is what today's deck looks like. So, creatures. Let's start there then. The first one, the Expel Dragon, which always makes me laugh that we have a Hydra that's an Expel that's also a dragon, but Shivan Devastator makes an appearance. The flying, the haste, and the +1/+1 counters means it's playable at any level of mana. We need to get ramp out, so we have got Dockside Extortionist in today to give us some extra mana. Well, treasures, but you know what I mean. Dragon Servant cuts down the cost of our dragon spells, which is really nice. The Generous Plunderer gives us treasures, gives our opponents treasures. I've got into this card, especially when we get to attack with it and deal people damage for equal to all the artifacts they have in play, which can be very relevant in Commander. Well, why am I telling you this? You all know this anyway. Goro Goro gives us away, giving all our creatures haste, and then once we've got a modified creature, we can activate it to get a Dragon Spirit creature token with flying. Yeah, we do have some ways of modifying our stuff in here. Not many, but we have a few. Both versions of Magda make an appearance, so we've got the Brazen Outlaw to get the treasure tokens when dwarfs we have become tapped, and we've got the Horde Master as well. When we commit a crime, we get a tapped treasure token, and then we can sacrifice their treasures off to get even more dragons, to get even more treasures, to get even more dragons. It's kind of a loop, maybe. Sort of, not quite, but it does loop. Dragon Speaker Shaman appears as well to cut down the cost even further for our dragon spells. Professional Face Breakers in, so we get some more treasures when we get to deal combat damage. Sarkhan the Soul Flame comes in from the Aftermath set as well. Again, reduces the cost of our dragon spells. And whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Sarkhan the Flame become a copy of it, except until the end of turn, except its name is Sarkhan Solar Flame, and it's legendary in addition to its other types. So it does give you a way of getting extra dragons and attacks him with some of the bigger stuff. Gelzev Prismar is in just because it gives us a treasure token. We can tap it to cast a few of the instances of sorceries we have coming up, but mainly it's just a way of getting extra treasure token for the equivalent of 3 mana. Roaming Throne makes an appearance. I really don't like this artwork. I prefer the normal one. But hey, I haven't quite learned how to select the artwork here yet. But anyway, comes into play. We choose dragons, obviously. And then whenever an ability of another creature you control with the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. Okay, double up the treasures. Yep, with this in Ganax in play. Thank you. Stirring Bard is a dragon, so it does trigger Ganax, which is nice. Get the initiative. Not so much of an issue, but it does give us a way of giving things haste and menace until the end of turn if we need to by tapping it off. So yay. Young Dragon comes in. Firstly, you do the Bathing Girl to get the treasure token, then you get 3/2 that can't block, but it's still a 3/2 dragon at the end of the day. Yeah, Bonehorde Dracosaur makes another appearance in one of my red decks. Sorry, still like it. Treasures all creatures. It's all good this way. Yeah. Shame it doesn't give you dinosaur dragon tokens, but it just gives us dinosaur creature tokens, so we can cope with that. A few more blockers, all good. Goldspan Dragon for the treasures and the whole attacking and becoming a target with a spell, get a treasure token. That's fine, and double up the mana we get when we sack our treasures off. Scourge of Alcus is also in. Whenever another dragon enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to creature or player or X number of the dragons, and Terror of the Peaks backs it up as well by dealing the damage equal to the creature's power when it comes into play. Here comes the big expensive stuff now. So we've got Ancient Copper Dragon for extra treasures. Incinerator of the Guilty for Murders at Karloff Manor. One you don't see that often. I don't think I've seen it played in Commander yet. But when Incinerator of the Guilty deals combat damage to a player, you may collect evidence X. And when you do, Incinerator of the Guilty deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker that player controls. So it does give you a way of wiping out someone's board if need be. If you've got things in your graveyard you don't mind losing. Inferno the Star Mount can't be counted, it comes in with haste. Lathas just makes even more dragons as things come into play. As more dragons come into play, you get token dragons and even more treasures, so yeah. Realm Scorcher Hulkite, it's battlefield. If it was bargained, you may add 4 mana in any combination of colours, but it just gives you a way to ping things when you've got mana floating around. Scourger Throne does the whole dethrone bit, which I really enjoy. Shimmer Dragon, I think is one of the few blue dragons in the deck. As long as you control 4 more artifacts, it has hexproof, and then you can tap 2 untap artifacts we control to draw a card. Should have plenty of artifacts with the treasures we're creating off Ganax, so this should be basically hexproof 90% of the time. I had a bit of fun because I like Dragon Mage. It was probably one of my favourite dragons back in the day. Just doing the whole Wheel of Fortune bit really does upset people, but it's very useful because we'll probably have an empty hand by the time we play this, and it does restock our hand for us. Ancient Silver Dragon does the whole deals combat damage to players, roll a d20, draw those cards. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Blast Furnace Hellkite, artifact offering. Flying double strike, creatures you attacking your opponents have double strike. Yeah, okay then. And then Cavern Hall Dragon as well makes an appearance. Whenever this spell costs X less, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls, Flying Trample Haste deals combat damage to a player. You create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. Yeah. Nice dragon, people forget about it, love it, it's great. One Planeswalker is just Sarkhan Farblood, just to give us some extra mana to get our dragons out a bit quicker. And if we get the -7 off, we're going to be very, very happy. Counter spell, Cyclonic Rift, Mana Drain, Chaos Warp, all control the board for us to a certain extent. Jeska's Will gives us mana and cards on a turn when we have a Ganax in play. Prismari Command, little bit of removal, a little bit of filtering, a little bit of treasure, a little bit of taking care of something we don't like. Big Score, Unexpected Windfall, cover up as some, don't know why unexpected, there you go. Give us a bit of card draw after we sacrifice or discard. Chain Reaction, Blasphemous Act, typical red board control for me. Artifacts, there's a lot. Because we've got so many high casting cost things, I really had to go heavy on it. So Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Bloom, Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman are all here to start with. The Elixirs here, obviously, because I am worried about things getting killed off. Lava Spur Boots turns up to protect Ganax if we can. We have got other things that do it as well. If I hopefully put them in. Yeah, Lightning Greaves is here and the Boots are here as well. So we've got all the 3 main things in there to protect Ganax. Hopefully we'll have one in play when we get around to casting it. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Fellwell Stone, Fire Diamond, Mindstone, Ruby Medallion, Sapphire Medallion, Sky Diamond, Talisman of Creativity, give us all our nice low costing ramp as I see it. Dragon's Horde comes in as well, just because whenever a dragon enters a battlefield under our control, we get to put gold counter, and that either gives us a card draw or mana of any colour we may need. Midnight Clock is just a way of shuffling everything back in if it goes pear-shaped. This should get up to 12 quite quickly, to be fair, and we can sink some mana into it if we need to get there better. And the Reaver Cleaver, just one piece of equipment. I did say we have some ways of in the deck of modifying things. This is one of them, along with obviously the other 3 bits of equipment I've already mentioned. +1/+1, has trample, and whenever it deals damage to a creature or planeswalker, a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. I think people sleep too much on the Reaver Cleaver. It's good in most red decks. Just 2 enchantments, nothing too fancy. The one you would probably all expecting is the Dragon Tempest, to make sure our dragons can deal damage and get haste when they enter the battlefield, because they all have flying with the exception of 1. And Kindred Discovery comes in, choose dragons as a creature types, and whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, we get to draw a card. Be careful, I have decked myself with this and lost that way, but it's so good. We need to, it's just consistent card draw that sits there. Then once you get it in play, unless someone blows it up, you're going to benefit from it. Land wise, blue and red lands all the way through. Nothing overly fancy in the deck. We are playing a heavy amount of mountains because as you look at the deck, if you look at all the mana symbols up here, most of it's red. There's very little blue. So I kind of went 7 islands, 13 mountains, along with all the usual other bits and pieces that you would expect to see in a blue-red deck. And that's it for today's deck. Ganix is fun. I'm going to be honest, I've had a lot of problems with Izzet decks over the years. I'm never very good at playing them. If you've seen any of the mistakes I've made on stream, you'll know. But I'm still going to try this out this week. You can come and see me play it on my stream. There's a link down below to Twitch. If you can, please hit the subscribe button here. I'm sitting at 426 subscribers on YouTube at the moment. I'd love to make 500, so if you can help out and hit that button, I'd appreciate it. Tomorrow, go back to OTJ for probably one final time, unless someone says they want to see something. So there's one legend I realise I hadn't covered and I want to do. And then hopefully, if things work out, as I said earlier, Thursday we'll get a deck up with MH3 Commander in it. If not, we might be back on the partner pairing, so I'll put a poll up during the week about the decks you want to see in order from MH3. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.